how did you get in this business in the first place? Is it a
So, I always wanted to do this kind of stuff. It's gonna sound so weird. Ever since I was young, I wanted to be like a stripper. I always thought they were so glamorous and so beautiful. And I was kind of like an ugly duckling as a kid. And I was like, oh, there's no way
Mhm.
I could ever do that, you know? And then I was probably like around 18 and I was like, there's no way I could do porn. And the only reason is because I don't want my family to find out. I don't want my dad to see me. I don't want my brothers to see me, you know? So like I was definitely scared of that for many, many years. And finally I was like 25 and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and sell panties. Let's just give it a try, you know? I just
right?
always kind of like tickled my fancy. And then probably like 2 years ago, I was like, all right, I'm not getting any younger, obviously. So I need to either bite the bullet and do it or regret not trying it ever in my life. So kind of just dug my heels in and am riding the bull for as long as I can during this whole thing. So it's been kind of like an up and a down process, but it's been a really great 2 years.
Getting into stripping though, is that for the attention or for the money?
So I don't, maybe I guess more for the attention. The money for me right now really isn't, it's not really there. I'm not making as much money as I guess the news perceives it to be. Um, I just like connecting with people. I've worked in marketing and sales for a majority of my life. So I guess like
Right.
connecting with people is a lot of fun. And I don't find sex to be taboo at all. Um, I don't think it's anything that we should be ashamed of. Like other countries, I'm Italian and Sicilian, and they're pretty open
Right.
compared to Americans. So I don't feel like sex is anything to be ashamed of. Probably a teenager. That was the first time I saw like my dad's Playboy magazines, and I was like, ooh. And then I'd always hear my aunt talk about strippers and stuff, and I was like, oh, interesting. But yeah, no, I wasn't 7. I wasn't that young. She definitely has me beat.
But when you saw the material, did the thought cross your mind that I could do that?
Yeah.
And once again, with that, was there the facet of you enjoying maybe teasing men or just teasing people, I guess?
I think it's just like teasing people, probably. Um, I like knowing the fact that, I mean, back then I didn't know. This is kind of like a full discovery for me. So at this point in my life, I like turning people on. To me, it's a lot of fun, and to get them off and watch it, it's a whole
Right.
thing. So I think it did start as like kind of like a teasy kind of thing. Um, and I'd always get like ample amount of attention from men, and I was getting nothing from it. And I'm like, this, I'm getting catcalled 24/7, you know, like these girls are getting
Right.
paid supposedly millions of dollars. And I'm like, well, it's not fair that I'm getting this for free. So it's kind of
Right.
like more like a teasy, but then also the money. But now there is no money. So the the evolution of the career for me has definitely changed. Um, yeah, I never really thought of it like that until you asked that question. That's crazy. It really has changed for me a lot.
And when you started or decided to do this, was there a sense of rebellion too? Maybe because you grew up the Catholic and you
No, no, my family is pretty open. I wasn't raised with a strict religion. My family was believe what you want, do what you want. It's your body, your choice kind of thing. Obviously there's limitations within the family,
right.
but I was raised that if I want to do it, then I can do it. Even still this day, my mom doesn't even know I do this stuff. And she'll always say, well, if you want to be a stripper, go be a stripper. And I'm like, okay, mom, thanks. So she's very open. I just haven't crossed that bridge with her yet.
Where are you from originally?
So I was born in Tampa, but I was raised all over. My dad was in the military, Maine, and then I came back down here to Florida, which is where I'm currently at.
At some point, did you go to a public school or private school in grade school?
All public.
In grade school, do you have a favorite subject?
Uh, English. That kind of carried through all the way. I really like English.
I know you're very young at that point. Did you have any idea what you want to do with the rest of your life?
Yeah, I wanted to be an FBI agent. I
How
wanted
did,
to I wanted to so growing up as a kid, I'm a child of the 90s, so a lot of it was put your kids in front of the TV and they're going to watch the TV while the parents go do whatever they need to do. So I watched a lot of Cops as a kid. So very young age, I wanted to be a cop or an FBI agent.
was that the power you had as being a cop? Was it the authoritative thing? Was it what was it that
I wanted to be the good guy.
okay.
Yeah.
In high school, were you a popular girl, a loner, a geek, a nerd?
No, I was kind of the ugly duckling. I was not very attractive. I had a lot of friends because I'm super bubbly and nice and open, and I was always the new girl in school. I changed schools like 8 times or something crazy like that. So I adapt very well. But yeah, I was not popular.
Popular with the boys?
Nope. I I had crooked teeth, a lot of freckles, and a very small chest. I was not attractive.
Uh, did you date at all then? Were you just like a loner?
I did not date. I had like a really good group of friends that were girls, and they always had boyfriends. But I guess I was always considered like the unattractive friend.
And you mentioned at that point that you saw the adult material, was it after high school?
It was probably mid high school when I saw the adult material.
Did that maybe change the way you dressed because it was sexy? Maybe you didn't think you were sexy enough for the boys or the girls, I guess. If you're into women, God bless you.
I am into both. Um, but no, I don't think so. I was always like when I once I turned 18 and I could wear whatever I wanted without
Right.
a school telling me what to wear, I've always worn crop tops, see-through-ish kind of stuff. As a kid growing up, we didn't really have that option. I grew up poor, so
Right.
it was hand-me-downs or baggy t-shirts or whatever we had. So wasn't privileged to any of the cute in style stuff that the kids had. So
Were you bullied in grade school or high school?
yes, a little bit, not much though,
For
for being ugly. I don't know why I'm laughing. I guess I've never told anybody this really. I've told like my husband knows, but I've never really said it out loud to anybody else before.
yeah, but a girl with freckles to me would be cute. I mean, I don't know why
Oh,
people would bully her, but
yeah, no. And I'm super awkward anyways. Like I'm super outgoing and I don't really have a filter. So maybe the awkward looking and then just not caring what people think of me and my personality, I guess, was not a good combo.
at that point, had you done any modeling, taken any pictures of yourself and anything like that?
No.
Okay. You finish high school. Do you get a
Yes.
job? Do you go to college? Do you do what?
I was working at the time in senior living, which is what I stayed doing for probably about until I was 30. I worked in senior living. I didn't go to college or anything like that. I just worked my way up the corporate ladder.
For stupid people like myself, what is senior living?
No.
But what is senior living?
So it's retirement community. I worked with old people, people who live in who need assistance like with bathing and dressing and grooming and feeding. I really like working with people who need help. That's where I started. Eventually I'll probably go back to
Right.
doing that. I like helping seniors a lot. I did it for 10 years. So it's where my passion lies. I really like taking care of them.
Well, there must have been a bunch of dirty old men there who thought you were cute.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's quite only one really made comments. Everybody else was pretty cool, pretty respectful gentlemen. So
Okay, within the 10 years, do you meet your husband first or do you get into this industry?
so I during those 10 years of that I didn't have my husband. I have multiple baby daddies, which is disgusting. I hate saying that out loud, but I do. But I met my husband and then I got into the industry. So he actually encouraged me to do this. I had told him, hey, I kind of want to do this stuff. I've been flirting with the idea on and off for many years. And he was like, well, if you're going to do it, you should do it. You'd be great at it. He's like, you're good at connecting with people. You're good at making people feel safe and comfortable around you. He was like, you're obviously attractive, which that's the easy part. He was like, so do it if you're going to do it. So with his blessing, I jumped head first.
Doing it though, is that you starting out maybe taking lingerie pictures or topless pictures or just solo boy girl girl girl?
So when I first started, I was doing mostly like lingerie stuff just because I was kind of, I don't want to say insecure, but I was unsure of the positioning of the camera. Like I said, I had no idea how to take a picture of myself. Um, I know you said you're old school and you take notes. Well, I'm old school and I didn't use social media at all. I wasn't one of those Instagram people where I was taking pictures of myself or the food and I know lighting and this and that. I was starting from square one. So I took pictures of lingerie first, and then I would slowly get down to like topless. I remember posting full nude for the first time, and I was like,
Right.
oh my gosh, they are all going to judge me. They're going to think my body is disgusting. But it went well. And then I did a few boy and girl stuff with my husband, but most of the time they just like me masturbating or cock rates are like a big thing.
You just said they're going to judge. What about
Mhm.
you? How did you judge you?
I liked it. I thought it was good, but I didn't know like, am I taking the right angles? You know, like
Right.
that's the kind of critique that I was thinking in my head. Um, of course, like I'm worried that it's gonna be like bad lighting, so I'm gonna look bad. I'm gonna look like ugly. You know, like I don't really care overall. Like if I was taking a good picture and I knew I looked good, I don't care. Anybody can see. But it was all about the lighting and the angles. I was like, oh my God, they're gonna look at this and be like, why is this girl posting on here? And I think maybe that has to do with being bullied as a kid, just always expecting people to say mean things when I try new stuff.
So for you, what's a good picture? Your boobies look good, your face light up, the angle, your butt's arched up. Like, what is it?
I guess it's mostly my face. Because like my body, I'm pretty comfortable with my body. My boobs are done, my stomach kind of momish, but not like flabby or anything. And I've got a really nice ass. I was born naturally with that.
Right.
So I think my biggest thing is like my face and my facial expressions. I'm like, am I coming off as looking sexy? Do I look like I'm nervous? Do I look like I'm stressed? That's I
Right.
think because my boobs aren't going to show that I'm stressed. You know, my ass isn't going to show that I'm stressed, but my face can. And I think that's what makes me nervous, that maybe the bad picture will be through my face.
You do all the post work on the photos? Do you touch them up and do all that? Does your husband do it? Does somebody else do
I
it?
do it.
Then do you typically batch? Or do you just do like one at a time and take it apart basically?
Sometimes I'll do batches. It just depends on what I'm doing it for. Like if it's an Instagram post, I'll just take like maybe like one or two photos and not really think about it. If it's more of like a lingerie set, then I'll do more than one and then kind of go through and pick it apart and then delete the ones that look horrific.
Uh, don't take this wrong way, but I don't consider you to be in the mainstream adult. And the reason I say this is within adult, it's a business built upon 20-year-olds basically. But the
Mhm.
MILFs, and I hate the word MILFs, are a lot more popular than the 20-year-olds. Why do you think that is?
I think so. When I think of me when I was 20 years old, I did not know what I was doing, like whatsoever. I may have thought I did, but I had no clue. Or there were times in my life where I was just super, super insecure. So it was like either one or the other. I
Right.
was doing it and I was doing it poorly, but I had confidence, or I had no confidence and I was completely insecure in myself. In my 30s, I'm pretty secure. I know what I like, I know what I don't like for the most part. I'm willing to try new things, not really afraid of what people think of me anymore.
Right.
I'm just kind of open as a person. I know who I am more than I did when I was in my 20s. In my 20s, I was trying to fit everybody's box and be perfect and have everybody like me. Now I don't really care. I'd rather have a tribe that likes me for me instead of having millions of people who think I'm hot.
Do you think the fact that, once again, milk, I hate this word, but women in the 30s are a little more experienced,
Mhm.
a little more knowledgeable. They're almost intimidating to me. But I mean, I would bet you've got a look in your face that would slay most dudes.
I do sometimes, yeah.
So do you think that's part of it? Or because speaking from a dirty old man's perspective, if I see a 20-year-old, my mind says I want to have all this ridiculous sex with her, but I can't have a conversation with her.
Right.
She's just not there. She hasn't had enough life experiences. So do you think that has anything to do with it?
I think so a little bit. I don't think it plays too much into it. This is just my perspective, and I'm a female. I have a lot of guy friends and got a lot of guy influences. Most of them, I think it changes with age though as well. Most guys just want to have sex and be done with it for the most part. And then once you get older or you're ready to kind of like calm down a little bit, the sex becomes less more about banging and a little bit more about, okay, well, she was cool, she didn't make a weird face when I asked her to
Right,
eat my butthole, like
right.
that's stuff that you're probably not going to ask a 20-year-old unless she's in porn to do. But I think as guys get older, they kind of more like the MILF stuff, or somebody who didn't really have great mom figure and they're younger, they really like MILFs too. I find like the 21-year-olds are really, really into me. Oh God, I hate saying that. It makes me feel weird sometimes. But yeah,
And well, you're married, so I don't even know if I should ask, but do you have fantasies about 21-year-olds?
not really. Probably
Older
for the
woman,
same.
younger dude,
No, I had sex with younger dudes when I was a younger chick, and it wasn't that good.
for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your OnlyFans. Tell me about that.
So actually my OnlyFans I started probably just 9 months ago. And it is pretty vanilla as OnlyFans will let me. They don't really let you do anything crazy on there. You can't do pee, you can't talk about choking, you can't tie yourself up. Um, you really can't do much on OnlyFans. I like it because like a lot of people are on there. So there's if nobody has like a porn account, they probably have an OnlyFans account. So I like it for that. I also like it that it has both options for paid and free. As Fansly doesn't, but Fansly is actually the first platform that I got approved from. OnlyFans for like 6 months told me that I was not a real person. And they denied me over and over and over again. So I gave up for a while.
For OnlyFans, loyal fans, somebody else's fans at this point, and Fansly, do you think people come to you more for personality or to watch you have sex?
I think now at this point, it's for my personality. When you first start, obviously you get that bright gold sticker, whatever is at your page saying that you're
Right,
brand new. So I lured everybody in with that new sticker.
right,
But because I worked in sales and marketing for so long, I kind of know how to keep people happy for the most part.
right.
And then I let them get to know me. As far as I'll let strangers on the internet get to know me. um, and I think building that connection with them, which is like my favorite thing to do, is to get to know the guys. So I've had guys with me now for like just at 2 years, a year and a half. Um, People who left and came back and said I couldn't find anybody that I had a connection with like I had with you. So that to me is I feel good about. Especially like when they nominated me for XBiz Awards. And I'm like brand spanking new, like, and the guys nominated me, and I just was like started to cry, all this stuff. I didn't get actually in, but being super new and having your fans think like you're that awesome to get an award
Right.
or to be nominated was just absolutely touching. They're great. I really do love them a lot.
Going back a step, your husband encouraged you to unleash the beast, basically. You
Yeah.
decide to unleash the beast.
Yeah.
Is there ever a point where he's like, you're going too far with the beast?
No, no, we have really, really great communication. And that was one thing we wanted to make sure that was open before I started any of this. He does have full access to any of my pages or anything like that if he
Right.
wants to. But he says he doesn't want to see me flirt with other men. He's like, I know that's part of it. He's like, I don't want to see it. So he kind of keeps to his thing. I keep to my thing, but I'm I'm respectful.
And you have a website. Do you post
Mhm.
different material there as opposed to what you put on OnlyFans?
Yeah, so my actual website is for more light dom kind of stuff. Heavier JOIs, come eating instructions, humiliation, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Um, edging, so orgasm denial, that kind of stuff. Which I didn't really get into that until probably like 4 months ago. And I'm like, holy crap. Somebody asked me, who one of my fans that had been with me for a long time, he was like, I know you don't really like being mean, but could you try this for me? And I did it. And I was like, oh no, this started something completely new. So I had no idea what I was really going to post on my website. I was like, how am I going to be different? I'm so plain, blah, 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 blah. And then once that flip switched, I that's kind of what that whole website is turning into now. It's kind of like a light dom
Right.
situation, which is a lot of fun.
Well, prior to that, sexually speaking, were you a submissive person?
Yes. Yep. I'm submissive in the bedroom, and I was super submissive when I started Fansly and all that stuff. Um, Personality wise, I'm a little bit more aggressive. But yeah, in the bedroom, I consider myself a submissive. I like to be called good girl. I like to be told that I'm doing a good job and all that stuff. But there's a side of me that's a little bit darker than what I originally thought I was.
And bringing it out, did it make you nervous that you found out you had that side of you? Or is
No,
it
I was
just fun to
excited.
go crazy?
No, that was no, 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 no. I was excited. This is like this whole experience for me has taught me a lot about myself. Um, like I always saw myself as like a sexual person, and I didn't really think porn was weird or anything like that. But as I'm doing this, I'm getting more confident in myself. I'm trying new things. I'm not afraid of new things. So when I found that out, I'm like, that's really cool. Like I always tell the guys, I'm here to explore myself. The same way you're watching me explore is the exact same thing that's happening on the other side of the screen. So you guys are seeing this happen firsthand, how I'm developing as a person and as a creator. So when that did happen, I was like, this is amazing.
And I know you do custom work. I shouldn't say I know you do. I'm guessing you do custom work on your website and OnlyFans. Is that correct?
Yes.
Craziest request you got for a custom.
Um, Somebody wanted me to poop in my underwear. I did not do it. That's all they wanted me to do. They wanted me to film me pooping and pooping into my underwear and then putting it back on.
And then did they want you to mail it to them?
Yes.
How did I know that? But anyway, uh, other than that, though, is there any other limits, I guess, for when you do custom work? Like, do you do boy
Um,
girl custom work and girl girl and the whole bit?
so I don't have anybody to do girl custom with right now. That's something I'm exploring. I will do boy girl customs if need be. I guess the biggest thing for me is I don't like the whole incest role play. So I can't say I can't be mom while I'm pretending somebody else is my son. To me, I can't cross that line. Stepson is pushing it, but I really can't do like the full blown incest role playing, whether it's just me speaking or if my husband's involved.
Okay, you aside, and joking when I say this, but why do you think America is so obsessed with the whole incest thing?
I have no idea. That's a very good question. I have no flipping clue.
Uh,
It's it's disturbing to be honest, but To each their own. I just don't do it.
And you mentioned earlier you were exploring it, looking for girl stuff. Is that you're collabing with people, or you reaching out to people who have other accounts, or how does that work?
So I have friends who are in the industry, like very light in the industry. I don't know. We just never really seem to like work anything out. So I don't know what's going on with them, but I have reached out to other creators and I haven't heard anything back from them. So right now I just feel like I'm throwing darts into the dark and hoping that I hit a bullseye. So it's kind of what I do on a day-to-day basis, which was crazy that you reached out to me because half my day I spend reaching out to people or models. And that's what I keep telling myself every single day. I know I'm somewhat attractive. I know I've got a great personality. My work ethic is probably the highest you've seen from a lot of porn stars, I would assume. But one day it's going to happen. At least the women that I know on
Right.
Twitter and Instagram, we've all had jobs prior. I don't want to say
Right.
real world jobs because this is still a real world job. But like we worked in customer service, we were the face of companies,
Right.
we had to meet deadlines. It wasn't just willy-nilly whenever you
Yeah.
want to do something, it can be done. So I work the same way as I would if I was a corporation. This is a business for me. If I tell somebody I'm going to get a custom done, it's going to be done by X amount of days. If it needs to be adjusted for family reasons or whatever, I let them know. Same thing with us. We have a meeting. I'm going to be 10 minutes early. If not, I'm late. That's how I was raised.
Right.
So I think maybe that also might be a little bit of why men are a little bit more attracted to older women. We seem to have a little bit more of our shit together.
How often do you update your we'll say platforms for sake of discussion?
So I post every single day on my Fansly and my OnlyFans. And then usually by twice a week, I'll post on my website. Right now, for price increasing, though, I do it once a year. So I will be going through price increasing for next year, next month. But I'm on Fansly and OnlyFans like 12 hours a day. If I'm not shooting content, I'm on there talking to the guys.
Do it.
Yeah.
Let's hope to God I get this right. But you're a brand ambassador for Swamp Hottie, Swap Hottie.
Swamp Hottie, yeah.
That's what I thought it was. What's a Swamp Hottie?
Apparently, I never heard of the term before I joined them, but they are a underwear company. And the owner is, I think she's a Gator alumni. So that's where the whole swamp thing came from. So everything she does is a little bit, I don't want to say rednecky. It's rednecky with class, which is kind of right up my alley. But yeah, I've been with them for almost a year. Like I said, I reach out to like hundreds of companies a year, and they were just the first ones to write me and be like, yeah, we would love to have you as one of our ambassadors. That was genuine because you get a lot of scams out there. I can pick those out from a mile away. But yeah, I was just looking for brands that I felt connected with, and I wrote them, and they were the first ones to respond. It's been great. They give me free panties.
I won't go there. When your reaction when they say, "How do you want to be a swamp hottie?" Like, was that interesting? Was that happy? Or were you just happy that you had something to represent?
I was happy just to have something represent at first. And then once I got to know the owner, she was like by far the most welcoming person ever. She had actually worked in the industry a little bit on and off like 10 years ago. So I don't get any money off of anything that they do. I just pretty much get free panties and model them for them. But whatever I need, she's always there for me, like always. So you can call me a swamp hottie all you want. They are some of the nicest people I've ever worked with.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But just the thing to me, swamp hottie. I almost have a thing of what's the horror movie? The swamp creature.
Oh,
Was it
yeah.
the Black Lagoon, or was it?
Yeah. I also like the idea that I can make anything sexy. So if I have to turn the swamp into something sexy, I'm your girl.
Perfect. How did you find out about XBiz or XBiz.net?
Um, so it was when I got nominated for the XBiz Award. I had no idea what that even was when it popped up on my Twitter. It said so and so nominated you for an XBiz Award. I'm like, what the heck is XBiz? So then I clicked on it, saw there's awards, found the website, found the networking website, and I just kind of went down a rabbit hole at 8:30 at night trying to figure out all this stuff. So
And why do you think XBiz.net is so important for business people?
I think it's a great networking. I'm getting more into it. So when I ask questions, I get a response fairly quickly from people who are knowledgeable in the industry, which is super helpful, especially like someone for me who I don't know anything. So I can go there, ask a question, and get a response. Not only can I get a response, somebody will make a joke out of it. So it's like working at a workplace, but it's just on the internet where you're talking to everybody.
Yeah.
So I like that you get to meet people who you normally wouldn't meet. I would never meet you, unless that network was available. I've met a lot of other creators on there. I would have never have known them if it wasn't for xbiz.net. I think it's just like a really nice hub for everybody. I go on there every day. Every single day I go on there and I try to connect with people and at least leave one remark. And I read through all the stuff people have written and I try and take what I need and apply it to my own business because there's just so much knowledge on that platform that I think sometimes it gets overlooked.
And prior to getting into business, had you had any preconceived notions about this industry?
No, I didn't know what to expect. I had nothing underneath for me to even try to imagine what it would be like. I did think, though, that it would be a little bit easier for me to get into the industry than it is. Obviously, this is not like Hollywood, I would never make it. I would cry day two. This is almost as hard as Hollywood. I'm not gonna lie. I'm my own like sounding board. I have to talk to everybody. Nobody's there to back me up. You have like a few good people who will have your back, but it is a dog eat dog world. It really is. And especially in the porn industry, that's not something I was expecting. I was expecting people, everybody's having sex, everybody's gonna be nice, everybody should be releasing those endorphins and serotonin. And no, people are fighting for their spot in the porn industry, and it is a little bit more cutthroat than I anticipated.
Well, for you, joking aside, what is your spot in the business? What do you hope it to be?
Up until probably like a month ago, I did not want to be considered a MILF. Just because I didn't feel like I fit that narrative yet. You look at all the other women who have been in the industry for a super, super long time, like on MILF.com, you're like, oh, that's a MILF. I didn't think I was there yet. So I'm like, well, who the heck am I? Like, I'm not 20 years old anymore, but I'm not like seasoned like these other MILFs are in the industry. I'm like, so where the heck do I fit? And I'm like, right now, I'm just going to be the young MILF, and then we'll work more into the upper MILF category. So I'm cool with sticking in the MILF industry and staying on that side for now, unless something else opens. I'm like, ooh, I like doing that too.
And MILF aside, how would you describe yourself sexually?
I'm a pretty open person. There are times where I am super, super boring in bed. It just really depends on the day. There are times where I'm like, no, I am like wild. I want to try everything, 20 different positions. I'm going to eat your asshole. I'm going to peg you, that kind of thing. But it really just depends. I'm kind of like, I switch it up just depending on my stress level and I guess how tired I am.
Well, and your husband's probably the luckiest man alive, or maybe this most scared person because you don't know what's going to happen next.
No, he's pretty happy. I don't think it's prohibited anything in the bedroom. If anything, I'm like, hey, can we try this? Can we try that? He's pretty open as well. So it's not like he's strictly vanilla missionary kind of gentleman and I'm this wild cat. we're pretty equal with it. And I don't know, he makes me feel comfortable, so it's easy for me to feel safe and to do weird stuff.
I'm gonna guess and say you guys have been married for 5 years. You don't have to tell me how long, but at this point, uh, now especially now that you have an OnlyFans or you have a platform, let's say, is sex still fun or is sex now work?
No, sex is still fun. And that was something that I stand by very strictly. So when we're creating content, that is work. When me and him are creating content, it is work. It is fun to an extent, but it is still work. I am super particular. I know what they're looking for. I know what they like. It's going to be done this way, blah, blah, blah. When we're having sex, that's the fun part. That's when I don't have to worry about this position, this angle, this place. So sex is very, very, very still fun. Work is work, sex is sex.
But when you're shooting content, I don't know if it's POV or you put the camera on a tripod, but does that ever become, I guess, weird when your husband's trying to do his thing and no, you got to open up so the camera can see it, or you kind of got to turn your body to get this way. How long did it take you guys to get through all that?
So initially it was like probably like an hour process to get everything perfect. Now it's kind of just like a wham bam, thank you, ma'am. We know what positions and the angle needs to be. But I still need to go back and check it and make sure it looks good and everything before we proceed on to like the next scene or whatever needs to be done.
You take the same mentality we had like discussing photos earlier? Well, my face has to have the right expressions and my butt has to look right and all that. Or are you looking at a technical aspect, like the lighting's good and the angle's good?
All of it. I have to put out work that I'm proud of. This is like representation of me. I wouldn't pass in a report to my boss that was half-assed. So why would I give somebody a product they paid for that's half-assed? That's how I kind of see it.
And how much different are you than the person people see on camera? How much of this is an act?
This is me. This is all me. I'm 100% honest with my personality with the guys. I do the role play stuff every once in a while where I pretend to be maybe a little bit sluttier than I would, but this is all me, take it or leave it kind of thing. I'm not an actress, and it's really, really hard for me to pretend to be somebody all day that I'm not. Kind of figured it would just be easier to be myself and hope people like me than to pretend to be a character that I'm not and have to constantly put on this face. To me, that would just be absolutely draining.
And you mentioned you have a family and stuff. Do you have to do the soccer mom stuff where you go to all the events with the kids? And do the other people know what you do? Are they cool with it or they're not?
Nobody knows about it except for my husband, my sister, and my brother.
Wow. And you've done this for a year. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you think they'd be surprised?
I don't think so. I'm the person in the family that nobody really is surprised what I do. They're like, oh yeah, we saw that one coming. But yeah, I'm not ready to really open up to my parents yet. I don't think my dad would be disappointed. I don't think my mom would be disappointed. It's just, me saying those words, hey guys, I'm a content creator for porn. I can't get those words out of my mouth properly to speak to my parents.
And have you had any, we didn't have a lot of boyfriends in school, but have you had a lot of people either hit you up on social media and brag that they banged a famous content creator before she was famous?
So yes, I had one gentleman from my middle school that I went to write me on Reddit, and he was like, no way is this Brittany. I'm like, yes. So yeah, he saw me probably like 6 months into me starting this. I was like, oh my gosh, this is freaking horrendous. Everybody's gonna find me. And he's like, well, you grew up nicely. I wanted to be like, just because I'm an ugly duckling doesn't mean I wasn't going to turn to someone pretty. I mean, I could have stayed ugly, but
you had your chance and you missed it.
Yeah, you guys made fun of me all the time. No, I was super nice to him. It is what it is. I don't hold grudges. That's too time consuming.
No, but it feels good to rub in their face.
Doing this and them knowing that I turned out to be an amazing person, despite everything, is enough for me. And then my ex found me and asked me about it. He just asked if I had a private account And I said, yes. He's like, you mean a private account? I'm like, yes, private. And he was like, okay, I just found it. I didn't know. It's me.
What, does he want to join?
He never joined, at least that I know of.
Well, speaking of which, have you had any of your teachers join?
No, I didn't really have that many male teachers growing up.
But would that surprise you if they did?
I don't think so. Wouldn't surprise me at all now that I think about it. They weren't creepy, but I don't know. Guess curiosity maybe for them.
How far do you want to take this whole thing? Do you want to get in mainstream adult work and do all that?
So I reached out to quite a few big corporations in porn, and I got back a few yeses. But once I told them that I was not ready to have sex with a man on camera, they told me that they did not want me anymore. So trying to find people who are more open to girl scenes. I know it's out there. I used to masturbate to it. I see it all the time on Pornhub.
Right.
So I know the need is out there. But I'm just trying to find someone that doesn't dictate my worth of whether I'm gonna put a cock in me or not.
As far as you know right now, you'll never do boy girl with anybody else.
Probably not. I I know this sounds weird and it still doesn't make full sense in my head sometimes, but when a man and a woman have sex, there's a very deep connection. Obviously there's a penis and there's a hole and it joins them as one. And for me, that's an energy kind of thing that I can't pass through with somebody else a million times, because then it just kind of seems like it's not worth anything. When you do have sex with somebody, again, to each their own. I know I show my body online a million times a day, but we all masturbate. I'm just here for encouragement of masturbation. I'm not actually touching the guys, and I don't know. It's more personal when you're touching somebody.
What is wish tender?
So Wish Tender is a place where people can donate money to me. If it feels weird saying it.
Do
So
they have
like
to send you like $20 million or you're going to die in a week?
no, so I get all of it. So
Of
if
course you
they
do, but
huh?
wasn't there a famous evangelist or something at one point who said if he didn't get like $10 million in a week, he was going to die or some stupid shit?
Oh my gosh, yes. I don't even remember now. Um, so no, it's very basic things. So like they could buy me a coffee. There's extravagant things on there, which I would never expect anybody to do it, but I saw some girls, I'm like, well, let me just give it a try. But I never expect that. So I have like a new car on there, but a lot of it's super small, like I said, like
Right,
coffee, weekly gas, groceries, stuff like that. Sometimes guys like to spoil. Um, it doesn't happen very
right.
often, but
But in those situations, joking aside, do you think there's a reasonable expectation that that guy expects something in return? Or whoever
yeah,
gave you the money?
yeah, of course.
Do you feel obligated? How do I say this? Well, it's sounding weird. To do something for them, I guess, if that's the right way to say that.
Sometimes I do. It just depends on my relationship with that person. So if it's somebody that constantly gives to me, I'll constantly give something to them. Because that platform is strictly just for money. And you're not supposed to be giving them any extra content. It's just for them to give you money. So if I gave something to somebody through there, it would be considered a breach of TOS. So whenever they do that, I'll just give them like a free video on Fansly and not say what it's for. But they get spoiled. I just don't say why.
Oh, what are your social media handles?
So my Twitter is Britti Bratti 1, which I think I'm shadow banned on there right now. Um, and then my Twitter is also Britti Bratti. Maybe it's Britti.Bratti 1. So everything's Britti Bratti. I have found Britti Bratti for everything. If it's not just regular Britti Bratti, it's Britti Bratti 1.
Now, how did you come up with that handle?
So my sister used to call me that when I was little. She would say Brittany is a brat because I was a spoiled little brat as a kid. So it was my nickname growing up.
Between Instagram and Twitter, do you find you have a different fan base?
Twitter is a lot dirtier because Twitter lets the dirty freaks come out. And they let you do like a lot of things on there that Instagram would take your profile down in 30 seconds. So there's a different crew of people between Twitter and Instagram.
And you mentioned shadow ban. Did you post a, I don't even know what a bad video is at this point, but was there
Right.
something?
No, it's because I'm part of Swamp Potty and I was retweeting too many girls at one time because there's, I think, like 15 of us in the group.
Right.
And I was doing too many retweets. And so they shadow banned me. And I have never been unshadow banned. I guess I
But
tweet too much.
shadow ban, does that mean that people just can't find you?
Yeah. So I went through a period on Twitter where I went from like 9,000 people up to like 15,000 people in like less than 4 months.
Right.
And now I have been at 16,000 people for 2 months. So nobody can find me on there. I'm not getting any new followers or anything. So, and when people say they try and search me, like, oh, I can't find you. I'm like, oh, damn it, Twitter, but it'll eventually go away.
If people want to get a hold of your business, do you have an email? Do you want to give an email?
Yeah. So it's the one that I gave you. It's brittany.professional@gmail.com.
Do you plan on making appearances like at the conventions and stuff, or you strictly do online?
Yes, I would love to. So I
So
was
why
gonna
don't
go,
you?
huh?
Why don't you?
Because I'm poor.
Well, it's a
So
tax write-off.
I know, like
Your whole
right now, like
existence is a tax write-off.
I'm really pinching pennies right now. But I'm hoping next year, Exotica, I'll be going to at least one of them. So that's my goal.
And would that turn you on, excite you to meet the people, put the face to the fake name, I guess?
Yes. Yeah, it would make me so freaking happy. So that's my goal for next year, to go to one of the Exoticas. So I went to XBiz Miami. That was really cool because it's like professional setting and it was more like meet and greet kind of stuff and marketing. So that was like right up my jam. But the next one, I would love to go meet all the people and see everything. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I know it's going to happen. Just got to get through the holidays.
You'll make it happen.
Yeah.
We do what we must, and this is what we must do.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anything you want to say to all of your fans?
I'm sorry?
Anything you'd like to say to all of your fans?
Oh gosh, now I'm gonna cry. That I really appreciate all of their support, that I love them more than they'll ever know. I know I say it all the time and I sound like a broken record, but I wouldn't be the content creator that I am today if they weren't here supporting me. So they mean a lot to me.